Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Patel and Minister Gwengwe. You may now shake hands with the Excellencies, and that will be the end of the signing ceremony. Well done. I now hand over to Mr. Tyrone Seal to conduct the press briefing. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Excellencies, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the media. Thank you, Your Excellencies, for this opportunity for us to communicate the essence of today's discussions with the publics in our two countries. We have agreed on 2 questions per leader, and I now hand over to Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa.
Thank you very much, Tyrone Searle. Your Excellency, President Lazarus Chakwera, members of the media, ministers, and ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to firstly express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency, President Lazarus Chakwera, for taking his time to visit our country. This visit is a depiction of the importance of the very warm relations between South Africa and Malawi. South Africa attaches great importance to maintaining these warm relations between our two countries. Our relations are built on historic foundations, and our cooperation has grown deeper and strengthened over the many years. We have concluded successful deliberations with His Excellency President Chakwera and his delegation, in which we reviewed our bilateral cooperation and expressed satisfaction with the ever-expanding ties between our two countries. We noted the expiry of the Instrument of Cooperation, the Joint Commission for Cooperation, which is the mechanism for bilateral engagements between our two countries. And we expressed our wish that we should elevate the mechanism to ministerial level. We noted also the existence of 15 agreements and memoranda of understanding between our two countries, covering a wide range of areas that affect the lives of our people. We have emphasized the need to implement all the agreements that exist between our two countries, and we also emphasized the need for these agreements to transform the lives of our peoples when it comes to addressing the challenges that our two nations are grappling with: unemployment, poverty, and inequality. Economic cooperation between the two countries continues to grow steadily, as demonstrated by the large number of South African companies that are operating in Malawi. Malawi itself remains one of the most important trading partners for South Africa. We have committed both our governments to strengthen cooperation on trade and investment, on agriculture, on defense, on culture, tourism, gender and health matters, amongst the various matters or areas where we cooperate. We've just welcomed the signing of the Economic Cooperation Agreement and further agreed to work together to identify specific areas in which South Africa and Malawi, through their companies, continue to do business. We also endeavored to put more emphasis on people-to-people cooperation between our two countries, given that we are one people and our peoples have been traveling between our two countries for generations. Cooperation needs to be advanced in areas such as culture, sport, and recreation in an effort to bring the people of our two countries closer. We reviewed the state of peace and security in Africa, specifically Southern Africa, and noted the need to collaborate in efforts at addressing issues of peace and security in our region. We noted that our region is relatively peaceful and stable while we remain with areas of some concern. We committed ourselves to working together to assist sister countries in the region facing a number of challenges. We noted with concern the ongoing instability in northern Mozambique and eastern DRC. We also reiterated our common view on the need to promote regional peace and security, considering that Malawi, South Africa, and Tanzania are part of the UN peacekeeping mission in the eastern DRC through the Force Intervention Brigade. Malawi is the incoming chair of SADC, while South Africa is the incoming chair of the SADC organ on politics, defense, and security cooperation. In this regard, we will work together towards regional integration and support of key objectives of our region, SADC, and those of our continent through the AU. We deliberated also on the effect of the global COVID-19 pandemic on how it is impacting on our two countries and our economies. In this regard, we undertook to continue with regional efforts towards devising a regional economic recovery strategy. These efforts will be linked to the promotion of intra-Africa trade through the African Continental Free Trade Area. Following our fruitful discussions of today, it is clear to me that we have further laid a very solid foundation to propel our relationship to a much higher level. I strongly believe all the necessary elements of strengthening our relationship are in place, and we should be able to achieve this. It remains up to us to ensure the partnership between our two countries brings real and lasting benefits to our respective peoples and all the people of Southern Africa. And once again, I'm delighted, President Chakwera, to have you here, and you've truly honored us with your presence in South Africa. And thank you very much. Over to you.
Your Excellency, Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, Cabinet Ministers, senior government officials, members of the press, all protocols observed. As I come to the end of my historic and successful working visit to the Republic of South Africa, I wish to express my heartfelt appreciation to my dear brother, His Excellency Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, for hosting me and my entire delegation on the occasion of such a memorable visit. The purpose of my visit was to consolidate the cordial bilateral relations which happily exist between Malawi and the Republic of South Africa. You are aware that our countries have long-standing fraternal relations, and South Africa is a host to many Malawians. Being a new president of the Republic of Malawi, I had no choice but to come to meet my partner to learn from his good practices in political governance and enhance my own knowledge toward the same. Malawi cherishes the excellent manner in which His Excellency President Ramaphosa has been chairing the African Union. I have pledged Malawi's unwavering support to South Africa in international fora, such as the UN Security Council, where South Africa holds a non-permanent seat. Obviously, I will also need South Africa's support as Malawi assumes chairmanship of the SADC next year, where we will share leadership as Republic of South Africa will also assume chairmanship of the SADC organ on politics, defense, and security. During our bilateral talks, we've agreed to enhance our cooperation in various fields of development, including trade, health, migration, and labor for the mutual benefit of our peoples. And this has been cemented by the signing of a memorandum of understanding on economic cooperation we have just witnessed. It is my hope that in future we will sign several MOUs and strengthen our cooperation through the framework of the Joint Commission of Cooperation. Lastly, let me seize this opportunity to extend my appreciation to Your Excellency, the government and the people of the Republic of South Africa for the warm hospitality accorded to me and my delegation for the 2 days we've been in this beautiful city. These are difficult times when COVID-19 pandemic is killing our beloved people. Despite this very serious hurdle, His Excellency the President still found it necessary to extend this brotherly invitation to me, and I am so deeply honored. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. I think we will now invite questions for the presidents, and perhaps since the microphones are with our guest of honor, I think we could perhaps start with President Chakwera. Thank you. Sophie.
Thank you. All right. I guess I have the privilege of being the first, the mics being here. Thank you very much for those questions. And to start with, let me say to you that Malawi has had diplomatic relations with the State of Israel since 1964. This is nothing that is a new thing. We have had diplomatic relations with Palestine since 1998. And we support the UN resolution on a two-state solution to the issues that are there. And we support the AU position. What we are saying is, and I had a chance to meet with the ambassador the other day from Palestine. She invited me to Bethlehem and said, you can come for Christmas in Bethlehem. We can have offices either side, but the point being this: we support the freedom of every nation on planet Earth, of every people, whether it be people group, they need the freedom which is their birthright. And we will continue to speak with the assurance that as people, we can talk to each other, we can understand one another, and we can come to a place where we, through that dialogue and contact, establish long-lasting solutions to what faces all of us as humanity. So this was nothing to do with going contrary to any resolution. It was a matter of expression in terms of relations that's already there. Second of all, in as much as we want everyone to know that Malawi stands with every nation in order that all nations live in peace. This is why we count it a privilege to be part of the SADC region, part of AU, and part of the United Nations. But everybody knows that even in the United Nations, reforms are needed. And so are reforms needed on the African continent. And part of that would have to deal with how do we fight corruption. Because the narrative that has been there is sometimes given Africa, I will not talk about the others, but Africa particularly, a bad name and a bad reputation, as if all we want to concentrate on is how do I profit by my political ascendancy to power. And so power becomes the weapon that one uses to profit and grow more powerful at that. What we are doing in our country, and what I have stated openly, is that we must strengthen the institutions, governance institutions, that deal with these issues. And if the institutions are strong, and Malawi has begun to demonstrate how that particular institutions doing their work independently, that will help give the people the assurance that these institutions can be trusted. But as government, we also need to make sure that these institutions have the necessary funding, the necessary expertise. And so I've been calling on all people of goodwill to say, we must, for example, strengthen the Anti-Corruption Bureau. We must strengthen, Financial Intelligence Authority and other such institutions. Even the judiciary must be able to act independently. The president must never be seen to interfere in their operations. That way, we can stamp out this cancer amongst us, because it has cost our peoples so much. Instead of us thriving, we are barely surviving when we have so much that we can use to serve our peoples with. So the fight must start with those of us in authority, making sure that everything is done in accordance with the law. The rule of law must be followed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'd like to invite the Malawi Broadcasting Corporation to put a question to you.
Be careful. Zikomo kwambiri. Ndingofuna ndinenepo kuti zimene takambirana zinthu zogwira mtima kwambiri chifukwa president watsimikizira nduna zawonso zinali pomwepo ndipo ena amene afunika kuti awuzidwenso anena kuti awawuza kukambirana kukhale kopitilira kuti tizilemekezana tonse chifukwa ndife pachibale monga mujanenera president kuti ndife anthu amodzi. Ndipo azathu amene nthawi zina amabwera kuno kufunafuna kanga chepe ndi anthu oti akapezeka zifukwa zizitsatidwanso bwino mwa ndondomeko komanso mowasamalira ngati abale wawo. Zimenezo zili mkati mwakuti tipitira kukambirana koma ndi zinthu zogwira mtima ndipo ndikuthokoza president Ramaphosa chifukwa cha kutitsimikizira kuti nkhani zimenezi zamveka bwinobwino ndithu. Ngakhalenso zimene mwaona panozi zoti anthu tigwirizane pomachita malonda zipitirire patsogolo komanso nkhani za ulimi komanso kuwonjezera mphamvu kuzimene alimi amalima kuyambitsa mafakitale. Zimenezi zikhalanso zoti tikhala ni ntchito zambirimbiri zimene zipezeke batitsimikiziranso kuti anthu akuno ali okozeka kulumanizananso ndi Amalawi pa ntchito zosiyanasiyana za mtundu umenewo kuti anthu athu m'mayiko mwathu azipezanso zintchito kumene amakhalako kumene amachokerako. Tikatero ndiye kuti tonse tikutukukira limodzi.
Thank you very much. I thought in many ways President Chakwera has appropriately answered all the questions that you put forward. Let me start off with a question on the Palestinians. South Africa's position on the question of Palestine is very clear and has been clear for years. As you correctly say, it was well articulated by the first president of our republic, President Nelson Mandela, when he called for the recognition of the quest for freedom and self-determination of the Palestinians. And it was then that South Africa positioned itself on the side of the Palestinians in supporting their struggle and in supporting a two-state solution for the Middle East between Israel and Palestine. And we support them in this quest up till today because we believe that it is the right of all peoples in the world to be free and to also have self-determination, to be able to determine their own future, their own destiny. That is still something that the Palestinians do not enjoy. And we will remain supporting the struggle of the Palestinians, and we will articulate this position at every public fora that we have until the Palestinians win their own struggle. Because we were also in struggle, struggling to achieve our own freedom, and we are therefore duty-bound to support those peoples in the world who are struggling for freedom and for self-determination. With regard to the second question, with regard to corruption, President Chakwera has articulated the position extremely well. We stand firm against corruption as a government, and we believe that we need to strengthen institutions that have been set up to fight corruption and to enforce the rule of law. And as heads of state, we should be in full support of processes as well as institutions that have been appointed to fight corruption, and we should do so without any form of interference, because those institutions should be independent, they should be able to do their work without any favor, any prejudice, and any form of interference. We also support the freedom of the press to do their work in relation to exposing acts of corruption, because as I've always said, corruption in whatever way it manifests itself is an act of robbery against the people of a country, because the money that is stolen is often meant for service delivery and advancing the interests of the people of a country, and in our case, of South Africa. On the issue of Mozambique, Mozambique is involved in dealing with the insurgents of armed people from the north, and they are dealing with that. And as a sister country in SADC, we're in support of the rule of law in Mozambique, we're in support of the people of Mozambique, and SADC itself is seized with this matter, and we'll be discussing this matter in the coming days. And I think one should just leave it there, because these are highly sensitive matters that are being done and discussed, and we should say that we support Mozambique in all the challenges that it is facing at this point in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellencies.
Thank you. We're done.